Welcome back to another VHS Memories review video. Recently I've spoken in great length about The Exorcist, of course, one of my favorite movies. I did a pretty lengthy review of it recently for Halloween. Check that out if you haven't. If you have like an hour to spare. And to a lesser extent, I've spoken about the entire series as a whole. You know, the sequels, 2, 3, and the prequel, and the two different versions of the prequel. So I've talked about those, but there is one sort of entry in the Exorcist series that I have not spoken at all about. It's kind of like an unofficial sequel, as unofficial as unofficial sequels can get. It's kind of like the Never Say Never Again of the Exorcist movies. Well, no, not really. It is a spoof movie, and it's a movie I have on VHS still, and that's Repossessed. As you can see here, this is a pretty crappy, like rental case here. Of the movie. Now this I found just completely randomly, like at a pawn shop, secondhand shop. I saw it on the shelf, and first of all, I had no idea that this movie existed, no idea whatsoever. So I see this video in this store, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's Leslie Nielson as the priest. Linda Blair is actually in the movie, and this is an Exorcist spoof called Repossessed. So, what the fuck? How could I have never heard of this movie ever before? I can't believe it completely, went under my radar. But I mean, there would probably be a good reason for that, because perhaps the movie isn't that well regarded, I guess. It's not that good of a movie, to be perfectly honest. But the thing is, okay, I first watched this a couple of years ago. I found this, I gave it a watch, and I was like, it's not really that good. But whatever. I had kind of an inkling to watch it every now and again, and I've seen it quite a few times. Every time I watch it, though, I feel a little warmer to it. I don't know. It's not genius spoof level of Airplane or anything like that, Young Frankenstein, anything like that. I wouldn't even say it's close to as good as like Scary Movie, so that's saying quite a bit. But it's harmless and funny the way it is. I mean, first of all, it's a very, very loose type of sequel, if you want to call it a sequel. Basically, it flashes back at the very beginning to a girl who's been possessed. The girl is named Nancy. Get it? Maybe you don't, because this movie is like full of like late 80s, early 90s jokes. This is from 1990, so just right on the cusp there. But, original girl's name was Reagan, so this girl's Nancy. Whatever. Anyway, the priest, instead of Father Marin, it's Father May I. And that's Leslie Nielson. So essentially what they're establishing is that the beginning of this movie is the ending of The Exorcist in so many ways. So that's what it is. And then all these years later, a decade and a half later or so, this girl, this Nancy, she has grown up into a woman. She's got married, had kids, living a supposedly normal life. But then guess what? Guess what happens? She gets repossessed by the same demon. In this case, they're not really pulling any punches with like Pazuzu. They're just like, yeah, it's the devil. Devil's possessing the girl, whatever. But yeah, that's the essential concept of the movie. But what's kind of interesting about it is that, okay, so you have Leslie Nielson as the priest, once played by Max von Sydow in the original film. His role, he's actually pretty perfect playing this role. I mean, like, he gets kind of the goofy accent down, but like, you have a spoof movie with Leslie Nielson as the priest from The Exorcist. That's pretty awesome, actually. So that's perfect. He doesn't even need to do anything else but just be there, basically, which I guess is kind of it. And Linda Blair is so perfect to play the possessed girl from The Exorcist. Stunt casting 101. Linda Blair, very definition of a good sport in this movie. Like, she's a good sport. But I liked seeing her, again, all these years later being possessed, and not in a an official sequel, like like The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, or something like that. I'm sure some people will say that this movie is a lot better and a more easy to swallow sequel than The Exorcist 2. But that's a story for another day. But yeah, so it's good. It's casted pretty well, and actually, in sort of like the Father Karras kind of role, Jason Miller, sort of as the apprentice priest. You have what is his name? He's from Anthony Stark. He is from Return of the Killer of Tomatoes, another movie that I reviewed on VHS Memories. I really enjoy. I love that movie. He plays Chad, and he's the main character in Return of the Killer Tomatoes. And he's in one of the James Bond movies. He's in License to Kill. He's like this sleazy, business guy in License to Kill, the Dalton one. Never mind. But he's very good. He's very funny. So there's all that. And the thing is, the movie, it's very well-meaning. It tries to be a silly, goofy spoof movie, a la Airplane. I felt like a la. No, but anyway, they have so many sight gags, sight gags upon sight gags, puns upon puns. Not all of them work. Some of them are pretty okay. I mean, probably one of my favorite ones is she's possessed, and she's she can she's more of like a magical kind of, I can turn into anything I want. So she'll turn someone into whatever. She turns him into a lady nun. She's like, haha. But then she can turn into things herself. And in one part you see her off screen and she's like, lick me, like she does in the original movie. Then it cuts back to her. She's transformed into a big ice cream cone. Yeah, weird. And they call it the conolingus move. And Jesse Ventura is in this movie. I'm getting ahead of myself, or am I? I don't even know. But here's what is the interesting concept about the movie. They kind of spoof televangelist kind of stuff, like Tammy Faye Baker. Again, super 90s. This movie is such a short window of relevancy, but they kind of spoofed Jim Baker, Tammy Faye Baker, their kind of whole thing, and they have Ned Beatty playing one of the husband, the televangelist guy, and the wife, who's obvious. They're supposed to be Tammy Faye Baker and Jim Baker, basically. And they're like, okay, so we found out that this woman has been possessed. Let's air the exorcism live on national TV. Have people donate to us. They make a deal with, the sponsors and everything like that. Complete sellout bastards, but whatever. And then they have, Jesse the Body Ventura on the ringside kind of commenting, and it's kind of funny, but kind of stupid too. This is a stupid movie. This is very stupid. A horrible movie, but I kind of like it. It's hard to explain, but it's just one, it has it's goofy kind of stuff, that sight gag puns you could put it anywhere, basically. You put it in any stupid movie. There's one scene where Nancy is going to the doctor, and there's a couple on the elevator who are getting frisky, and the lady goes down on the guy, and she opens the doors just as it's happening. He looks really embarrassed. She's like, oh, are you getting off? And he's like, so that's stupid. So much stupid stuff. I can't even begin. Just really, really stupid stuff. I don't know. It's hard to even just list all the stupid stuff in this movie. But I want to talk about the things that are specific to The Exorcist, because that's where it really shines. I think that's where you really get that's why you're watching it. You want to see holes poked in The Exorcist. You don't want to see silly jokes that have nothing to do with anything. Oh, though they're nice. But anyway, the first thing they do, they take huge advantage. They play it to death. The vomiting. First scene you see with Nancy, not Reagan, Nancy. What's she make for dinner for the kids? Hey kids, want some pea soup? Because everybody knows that it's pea soup. That is the vomit in The Exorcist. There's 5 different scenes of projectile vomiting in this movie. They really run into the ground, but still kind of funny. And one scene, he vomits on the demons. So it's like, how do you like it? So, yeah, there's that. And basically, I mean, the demon is trying to take over the world or something. I don't know, a whole evil plan, whatever. But the demon, the devil, is defeated with rock and roll, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because you know how they always say, rock and roll is the devil's music. Well, no. The priest in this movie, in a big stupid multi-costume dance number where they spoof Michael Jackson, they spoof Elton John, Robert Palmer, they spoof the "Addicted to Love" video, except there's nuns in the background with expressionless faces, because everybody knows that Robert Palmer video. That's a great video though. Might as well face it. Anyway, he defeats the devil with rock and roll somehow. I don't know. I don't understand the plot of this movie. This movie is so stupid. But I mean, at the same time, okay. Anyway, I'm going all over the place here. So they do the pea soup jokes. This is stop watching. Why are you watching this? It's a horrible review. But they make fun of the staircase scene where he's like falling down the stairs, but they seem to be lasting forever. So it's like, oh, whatever. And they kind of make a little joke about how you could see like the strings holding up the levitated girl. It's like, oh, don't worry about that. That's an illusion. Take some big scissors, snip. Funny. Anyway, this is a horrible movie. You shouldn't watch it. No, give it a watch. I mean, if you like The Exorcist, I think this is kind of an interesting oddity. So I would find out why I had never heard of the movie, because it's not that good. But it's still, I would say, in some ways, it is worth seeing. Just if you like the movie, just if you're a fan of The Exorcist, just if you want to kind of take away a little bit of the power it has in scaring you, seeing a movie like this poke holes in it. But at the same time, I would say probably the beginning of Scary Movie 2 is funnier than this movie, so if that's what it's worth. But this is a movie you can kind of put on in the background, not really pay much attention. You know, it has some good jokes here and there, so, I mean, it's not bad. Leslie Nielson. Leslie Nielson, a legend, a Canadian, amazing comedic actor. Man, he's missed. So it's great to see some of his work here. And this is a movie that came out like riding high right off after the success of Naked Gun. And great to see Linda Blair back, kind of reprising her role. So I think it's a harmless, silly, stupid, horrible, stupid movie, but at the same time, I'd say check it out. So that's my review of Repossessed. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, see you later.